Well, there you are again. Charlie Greer podcast again. Duh, I do this every day. Today, we're talking about famous neighbor Joe and the ghosts. Yeah, that already sounds like bullshit. That story's already bullshit. But yeah, I had a neighbor. We were living right across the street from Paramount Studios, this old apartment building. And at the time, he was just starting out. I can't say his real name. I don't want to use his real name. But I thought we were bros, Joe. So yeah, how I met Joe. Again, I was in the back he was right next door, my neighbor right next to me. And I think he had like the smallest apartment in the building. It was just like one room. Hell, I had a kitchen, and basically it was a one bedroom, but there was no door on the, so we hung something, a theater drape. But yeah, there's a knock on the door, and again, and the funny, I was sharing this. I had the bedroom, and then a dude was renting the living room, LA style, and we had kind of a bigger closet. We had that as an office, and our kitchen was big as anyway. Yeah, sometimes you got to do that. So there was always something going on. Seems like my place is always like the goings on. Knock on the door, bop, 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 answer the door. Here's this dude. I'd seen him around. Hey, can I borrow a pot? I go, sure, man, come on in, grab a pot. Bring it to him. And then he goes, can I borrow some food to put in this pot? I was like laughing. He had to smile. He was laughing. There's like 4 or 5 of us. What's your name? I haven't seen you around. Okay. So I got him like a thing of like macaroni and cheese, like noodles and cheese sauce or and maybe a can of tuna fish or something. And he hung out for a bit, but he was hungry. He's like, can I come back over? Yeah. So we did. And then we became, I would say, apartment friends, meaning he has his own life. I've got my own. There's certain people that think that he was a little bit big-headed. Because technically I'd done more than him. But, I mean, he's better looking than me and tall and, will do certain things I won't do, that kind of thing. But yeah, we became, hey, there was a fire escape. You want to hang out on the fire escape, get some beers, whatever. Yeah. So we got to know each other. And he had just done like a major movie, but for some reason, I don't know what it was. He had blown through. He talked about spent a week traveling with Mickey Rourke, and he spent all his money. I don't know. It must have been a lot of money. He made money. I mean, I don't. He had this little apartment, and his manager had fired him. I don't know. What was going on, but I didn't know who he was. And they told me like, oh, I think I did. Why are you living in this apartment? And then he said, yeah, I spent all my money hanging out with Mickey Rourke. This is like 2000, maybe. Around 1999, 2000, something like that. Over 20 years ago. And that's what we did. He would come. I'd have people over. My roommate at the time, who was living in the living room, was a computer guy, and doing graphics, whatever he was doing. So there was people there, other band people, girls, actresses, everything, set designer, you name it. Everybody in that building. It was crazy. And then and we'd had some paranormal shit going on. I mean, I guess everybody in the building did. And he was like, hey, we're on the fire escape. Hey, man, have you ever, anything weird happened? I was like, well, yeah, since you brought it up, you tell me, and then I'll tell you. And, so we started breaking down what we'd experienced. One of the craziest things that happened, I woke up, and my roommate saw this too. We both woke up at the same time, middle of the night, and the walls were like glowing red. Like, oh, where the fuck am I? He was yelling. I was like, what the hell? And it just kind of went like on the walls, like went back to normal. Like you could see the white and it was dark. This thing was like, it was crazy. This mysterious stain going into the kitchen on the carpet. We would be choked. I'd wake up like, felt like somebody was choking me. He's like, yeah, you saw it too then, huh? The choke. And I go, yeah. And then that kind of freaked him out. He was like, I don't talk about it, again. So I went and talked to the owner of the building. Oh, Charlie, he's an old stud man that saved his money and bought this building. And then there was a manager on site. So I talked to the owner. Oh yeah, they're so Hollywood. There's tunnels that go underneath here to Paramount. This used to be owned by Paramount. And they would let the movie stars or executive whatever want to do some kind of, it was a gambling place, secret gambling place. They want to do some crazy stuff. They would go underneath the tunnel, go up, go into these. And at one time, all the rooms were connected, so they had to change the wall. It was crazy. I mean, the owner said it had been a gambling hall, it had been a brothel, it had been everything. Marilyn Monroe and everybody had been up in this place. And now he said the tunnels were fixed or filled in or whatever, and So the on-site manager that lived there, and I guess he got like a free apartment just managing this place. There's not enough money or free apartments to have done this for me. I mean, it's crazy. Shit going on all the time. People pissing in the hallway. Just stupid. I was talking to him. He goes, hey, man, have you heard the bell yet? I'm like, the bell? No. He's like, oh, if you hear that bell, you need to go run. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, the next thing you're going to see are these two kids, like these girls they're haunting us. And I was like, oh, no, I haven't seen the bell, but all my neighbors said, we've heard these, saw these, this shit's not right. Never did hear the bell, never did see the the girls. But I would hear Joe screaming. Matter of fact, I guess it was happening more to him than, and I'd hear screaming, crashing, and then he'd come over, knock on the door, and be like, dude, and everybody, matter of fact, we were talking, maybe put up a flyer in the lobby. We're just like, hey, if you're saying meet us at 7:00 at my apartment 16, whatever it was. I was on the first floor in the back. And my apartment was, and again, this is an expensive apartment, even though it was kind of run down. It's expensive living in LA. So we all met. I mean, my apartment was packed. I had 2 couches in there, packed, people standing, and everybody had seen things, this, that, and the other. It had these weird things. So we went up on the roof, and there was these like squares, like these ledges, and you look down, and it was just to the ground. Like there was this dirt, and there was 4 of them. I'm like, why is that there? And there's windows. Matter of fact, I go, wait a minute, is that? I'd never opened up my bathroom window. I opened it up, and I'm just like, damn, it's just dirt. Like, why would they even have an open window? Maybe for ventilation? I don't know. And then they would make noise. It sounded like you'd hear these, I thought it was an air conditioner. I didn't know. But when I saw the dirt, I'm like, man, something right here. What? This thing was built kind of around these things. What the hell? And we'd hang out on the roof. Matter of fact, there's like pictures of celebrities or rock band on this roof. I don't know if they lived there or not, but because you used to be able to just go up in there and go. And they finally found out we were up there partying and doing whatever, and they kind of put a lock, and we figured out how to get the lock. They kind of deterred us a little bit. So we all were kind of, hey, this is a thing, it just ain't me, something's going on. We're all going to move, we're all like, hey, fuck this. We're going to find another place. But it's right in Hollywood, across from Paramount, down the street. And technically across the street was Paramount, but at the end, this way is is the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. So we're technically across the street from one of the biggest cemeteries, it's huge. So we're like, look, we we're all just going to try to move. And then someone, I forgot who it was like, hey, there's got to be like a paranormal society we can find. And again, the internet was going on then. And so we emailed them. Like, hey, or somebody did. We were having it. There's a bunch of us. So they come over, and there's a few of them. There was like a empath and the ghost people and a psychic, whatever. There's a group of them. And of course, we go to my apartment. It's just packed. I mean, this is a little small apartment. People standing around. It's getting hot. Like fuck. So we took them around the basement, all through the halls. Every level, there's like 4 levels, all through the hallways, upstairs to the roof, fire escapes. Then they went, okay, let's go. We're going to go do our own thing. The one that's like, leave me alone on the roof. They were doing their investigation. And they're like, oh yeah, there's been some trauma here. There's been murders and suicides and just the death of dreams. And well, yeah, I mean, it's Hollywood. Can you imagine what's going on? Especially back in the day when they built this thing, when it was like a private kind of gambling hall or whatever the hell it was. And you could see when you're on the fire escape at the top one, you could see across at Paramount. They had this like big wall with like foliage or whatever, and you could see like there used to be an entry. You could tell there was an underground, like you could even see on the road. It looked weird. And Paramount's like a little city, man. They got everything in there. I mean, again, on the fire escape, if you were up there, they had an executive like gas station. These executives or stars or whatever would just say they had pumps. You could go get your gas and take off. And this is on Van Ness Street. And there's an entrance on Van Ness that's all got security. And there's a little like hut there. You have to, barricades and the security. That's where people go in and out. Not the front where it looks all like Paramount. Yeah, and that parking lot up front, back front. No, it's Van Ness. That's where you see any celebrity leaving or any executive. I've seen a ton walking my dog in the morning or whatever. Hookers coming in and out. And so they're like, yeah, this place is you got to move. And then I talked to the owner again. I'm like, look, man, they pulled up the carpet or cleaned it or something because we had this stain and it kind of looked like a body, like a laying there sidewalk. And it would just get dark. So I moved in there, went in there, it came. They either repaired the carpet or cleaned it or whatever. It came back like paranormal, like what the hell? So he goes, look, man, there was a dude, a big guy too. And he always just wore like a white tank top. He was one of these, and I'm like, are you kidding? Like he described him. I'm like, dude, I saw him in a dream. Like I didn't see him physically, but I woke up screaming. Again, I was choking. This guy was, I would see this big, obese dude in a white tank top, stain. He was screaming like, if that's the guy, and we'd all had been, yeah, we've not seen him, but we've like had a bad dream, all of us. Like, yeah, well, he died that's where he died. That's where we found him right here. Are you shitting me? Why don't you tell me this? I'm moving. As soon as I find another place, this is cheap as you. And then Joe, famous Joe, he was screaming and yelling, and we heard like all this crashing. Again, his little apartment was like one room, this small. I hear him run out of it, and he comes to my bam, 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 bam. I open the door. Oh my God, he's freaking out. And this is what he told me. I mean, I'm hearing it firsthand from him, but I didn't see it happen. He said, man, this invisible entity like attacked him, picked him up, and he had a bed in front of that. He had like a dresser with a mirror. And he said that he saw as he saw himself in the mirror, like being held up by nothing. He was just some invisible entity. And Joe is big. I mean, I'm 6'2". He towers. He's got to be 6'6", 6'7", built, I think he used to play football or something. He freaking out. Like I'm leaving. I don't care. I'll go sleep on someone's couch. And this is the last time I saw him. I haven't seen him to this day. I mean, I thought him and I were like kind of, hey, buddy. No, he and then something strange happened. Like he left. We didn't know, and he said, oh, we're always saying we're gonna leave. We're gonna find another place. He did. He because the landlord's like, hey, it's paid rent. You seen Joe? And I was like, well, no. He said he was gonna move. He had some crazy shit going on. I mean, well, we got to go in there. He ain't paid. He's gonna be, and I guess he left behind clothing, his bed, like he left it. And then something strange happened. They actually put they condemned it. They put a orange sticker on the door, do not enter, had a thing in front of the door. Like, and this is right next to me. Like, what the fuck? Joe what happened in there? Never did try to find Joe. But next time I see him, he's a movie star. He's I never saw him again. Never saw him in person. Again, you think you know people, you think you have friends. I was always doing something for Joe. I mean, I'm feeding him this, that, and the other, and blah, tatsy, and borrow this, borrow that. And I think he spent the night on our couch many times. Cool guy. It's just that, like, maybe he just didn't want to think about it. Like, I reminded him of those days where he was being attacked by a ghost, basically. I'd love to talk to him right now. Don't matter how many movies and millions, he's probably living in a big mansion. He'd revert right back to that guy that was borrowing macaroni and cheese in a pot from me. I guarantee it. That's just how life is. How many challenges? Again, you know what I'm saying? He'd be like, oh my God. We'd be right back to me. Did this. We'd hang out. We'd go to, I never saw the guy. Except on the silver screen and on TV or movies, whatever. And I hate that about life. I hate that about people. Maybe I'd have done the same thing. Who knows? And why were they going after him? Why was it just, I mean, everybody was dealing with it, but it seemed like Joe was the epicenter. And to get ahead in Hollywood, the level he's got, there's things you have to do. Believe me, it ain't a game. Again, there's certain things I won't say, but believe you me, the shit you hear about it's true, and there's even worse. And I ruined my career not doing these things. Because every time you don't, then you lose those connections, and you don't, saying you get to a certain, and you're always, there's that level, there's levels to this game. And they don't really come out and say, I mean, until it's more insinuated. Sometimes they do. Sometimes it's like, hey, you got to, no, I ain't, huh? What do you want me to do? Or what do you want to do to me? Nope, not, see, dude, I'm an artist. And under that umbrella, I'm a musician, actor, painter, but I ain't, no, not gonna do it. You're like, dude, do it. No, I ain't gonna do it, man. I've had friends, again, I know people that have done it. They're not doing too well right now. If they're still around, and they always get sick, and something happens, and they look, their hair falls out. I mean, they get a skinny neck. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes for like not that much money. At the time you think it, but then you blow through that money. That's just how it is. That's just what, for a fact, take that to the bank. There is shit you gotta, and maybe that's why they were concentrating, if you're doing evil, because basically that's bad stuff, maybe that kind of reflects upon, I've always had my faith, even more so now, but I went to church when I was a kid, learned how to sing in church. I mean, I was raised around the Bible. There's just certain situations where I'd get myself in a certain situation, and then nope, I'm not gonna. It's like, man, damn, like I've heard about that. Now what? It's worse than I thought. Silly me. Thinking I can get by on talent and just charm and, wherewithal. Nah, no, that has nothing to do. I mean, of course, you got to have a look to get to these certain, but people thinking I'm full of shit. It is, I know. I'm holding back every podcast I do. I'm heavily censoring myself. I hate that, but I have to. I've already been in Facebook jail for, I don't even know why, for a week. They're shaving my likes on YouTube and shaving my subscribers. I don't even got any subscribers. So when they do, they just shave off. One day I have this many views, the next day I don't. It's just stupid. Again, nobody's watching this shit. Look at this. Why would you even care? But even though this is crazy, good times. I had some great times in that building. And I turned Joe, famous Joe. I turned him. So down on Van Ness, you take a right, you're headed towards, so you're going north. Van Ness, hit Santa Monica, take a right. And it used to be called the Hollywood Bowling Lanes. That was the place I loved to go. They shot Big Lebowski there. They shot every kind of, anything there's a bowling involved, they shot it there. And it was this big bowling alley, old school, cool. You walk in, there was like this little Chinese restaurant, and then the bowling lanes, and there was a bar. And they had $2 beers, which is unheard of even back then in LA. They had a jukebox that only had Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. I thought that was the most awesome thing. They had a smoking area in the back. You could basically smoke at the bar. How I knew about it is I was in the NBC miniseries called The Beat Goes On, the Sonny and Cher story. And now it's just like a 2-hour, if you see it, it's like a 2-hour, they've edited so much. It was a miniseries back on NBC, like a 3-part, whatever. I was in the beginning of that. I was the drummer in that. One of the best roles I ever had, and I got paid really good. But I was in it before they were called Sonny and Cher, it was called Caesar and Cleo. So in the beginning of the miniseries or whatever, I'm the drummer. Last time I saw it, I was edited. You barely see me. So we shot there. We shot at this bowling alley. I spent like a week or two in there just shooting. We did, their first hit was Baby Don't Go, Baby Don't Go. And Caesar and Cleo played at that bar back in the day. I'm talking about like maybe pre-Beatles, like 61 or 62. So we shot there, NBC. So I was there, and I was like, wow, I didn't even know, because it's kind of sketchy looking, and I'd see hipsters there, but I'd be like, I ain't going in it. Well, after I worked there, I was like, dude, that was my place to go forever. And then they tore it down. So this is another thing about LA. They tear down this historic, it should have been the Historical Society. It looked cool. I mean, granted, that part of East Hollywood is kind of, at night, the day, whenever, it's not, tore it down, and then built a school, and then tore down the school. And then last time I saw it was just still a bare with a fenced, just a metal fence. It's like, dude, why'd you tear it down? It was so cool. Now, granted, it was kind of shady too. I mean, I was there one night, and the ATF or some of these federal dudes came in, and everybody had to stay put, and they had to see us, all our drivers, and then they let us go. But they had these, I guess, rich whatever. They'd go in there and they would bet on people bowling. Like the people bowling didn't know, and they're just like, okay, I'll take that. And there's like high stakes gambling going on. So they raided the place, and they got these high stake gamblers. Like, what gambling? What? See, again, it's Hollywood. They know where to go. Where are you going to go? What is bet on these? People bowling people are bowling. They suck. And they're still there. And I'm sure it was that kind of stuff and there's probably more going on. The thing was open 24 hours a day. If I couldn't sleep one night, it was like 3:30 in the morning. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to get up, shower, and go to the bowling lane. And the place was packed. Stayed till like 7, 8 in the morning. I'd taken Joe there. Famous Joe. I'd say, hey, he loved it. We'd go. That was our thing. Let's go. I ain't got no money. I got a little bit of. Or he would go, come on, man, buy me a beer. All right, let's go. Everybody was going there. One night, Blackie Lawless, the singer of Wasp, was hanging out and holding court. Rachel Hunter, the supermodel or whatever, she was married to like Rod Stewart. She was there. I mean, all these crazy, everybody. And again, $2 beers, bottled beers too. Like, we're always at the bar, a bunch of us. We're like regulars. And the Chinese restaurant was amazing. Supposedly they I don't know if this is true, but they suppose, because I went in there and they shut that place down. What's going on? Oh, I guess they were like serving pigeon. Yeah, I guess they got caught. I was like, is that what I've been eating? Do I love pigeon? Well, if it's pigeon's good eating, hey. Because I would get like they had like a fried rice, and then you get these little. I thought they were chicken legs. They were bomb, but like maybe they're pigeon. I don't know. But they closed that plate. Bam, boom, done. And then they just went downhill, and But yeah, I would take Joe. We would. Matter of fact, you could walk there. We could walk there. We didn't at night. You don't want to walk. Pardon me. Pile into. I had a '72 Mustang Fastback, big block. Just packed. 6 or 7 of us in it. Who I ended up selling to, dude who played Superman in Smallville, to pay my SAG, because to join SAG you need a couple grand. But yeah, I miss Joe. It's like, come on, man, we were bros. We kind of like Matter of fact, people are always like, man, Joe's standoffish. He always pulls you aside. Like, what are you guys in a gang in the mob? Like, no, he couldn't. And I get that. Like he was a little, again, he'd already made money, lost a bit, whatever. And he knew he got his shit together, and then he's doing well. But we were like, like what we connected, we bonded. So it was like that. So there would be times where like, Joe, like, hey man, we'd step out in the hall. People were like, what do you step out in the hall? We'd talk about, or I need to talk to you. Let's go to the fire escape. So I'd leave. So a lot of people didn't like Joe because of that, because he wasn't mean. He was just like, oh, hey, how you doing? He just couldn't break that wall. I'd have him laughing, we were like hanging out. And then if we were hanging on the fire escape and they show up, he would kind of stop, and then he was kind of shy maybe, even though he's big and, and he was a handsome dude. So, I mean, like that's intimidating to people. And he was, but I remember right before this last incident happened, we were on the fire escape. It was, I loved to go out there as the sun was setting, and it was awesome. We'd have beers up there and smoking cigarettes. And he told me that he'd reconnected with either his old agent or he got a new one, and they understood, like, look, okay, you just got into Hollywood. First time you've ever had this kind of money. Hanging out with Mickey Rourke, that happens. You went to Ibiza for a month and spent all your money. That we get it. Just don't do it again. Kind of pull it back a bit. And he told me, he's like, hey, I just signed with one of those big 8. I'm up for this, and sure enough, he got it. But I was like, hey, cool, man. I mean, again, you would have thought that he would have cruised by, and maybe he did. Because I did move out after he left. I wasn't there that much longer. Maybe he did try to find me. But I thought he had my email and my note. I don't know. I never got a call. And again, if I saw him right now, if I walked up, bro, haven't seen you in 20-something years. Thanks for the macaroni and cheese. It's a strange, mysterious world. But he's doing okay. I'm doing fine. I mean, not as good as he is. But I don't have people telling me, I can live my own, nothing lasts forever. Be happy with today. Be happy with what you got. Be grateful for what you have. And I might even tell more because there's certain things that I haven't said that I will maybe this might be a record. I love y'all. I got to go to work. Dear Lord. Love you. Again, I do this every day. There's my dog. There you are. I do this every day. So come back tomorrow. Love you. Be blessed. See you tomorrow. Cheers.